let's give this the beans. God, this has pull. There is absolutely plenty of oomph at higher speeds. All right, 2 hours of the Lucid Gravity, let's go. I've got a black one right now here on the Mojave interior, and it looks freaking gorgeous, so let's get into it. I didn't expect this. 4 years and 43,000 miles later in my Lucid Air, the best car I've ever owned, by the way, and 2 hours later, the Gravity made me forget all about it. I'm a sedan guy. I wasn't supposed to love an SUV this much. I mean, I've driven a lot of EVs. Not one of them made me want to drive home in them instead of my Air, but this one did. So let's talk driving dynamics in the Lucid Gravity. So it was really interesting. The moment I got in this, just like a lot of other vehicles that I really love, the Lucid Air, the Rivian, Polestar 3 too, you know, immediate sense of where the wheels are in this. So no question, I knew where the wheels are and exactly how to place the vehicle, even though the front of this is so sloped down and interesting. I'm like, oh my God, okay, where's the nose of this? But it works fine. And interestingly too, it took me a few minutes to get used to the seating, to also get used to the weight of the steering wheel. The steering wheel on this, while it's a thinner wheel, has a more firm feel to it. And I think, again, that's the thing I'm so used to with the Air, the lightness, the way it almost kind of dances. But then the flip side is that this is a bit more deliberate, a bit more direct of a steering wheel. No real issue with that, actually. I think it's a little refreshing because it does mean that there is a sureness to how you place this in a corner that I do find refreshing. And the four-wheel steering on it, oh my goodness, I love that. It really does make this feel like a much smaller vehicle. At this speed, the steering actually feels almost a little bit lighter in a way and allows me to give just the amount of input I want. I'm not correcting mid-turn, just like the Air and like a number of other good performance cars, like a Cayenne. Another part of it too was Regen. I got in, Regen was set to standard. I didn't even know that. I like high Regen. I want high Regen. I want to be like, okay, cool, I'm gonna let the car do, you know, 95% of the braking with the motors. I didn't even need to do that in standard. So putting it into high Regen actually was kind of shocking. It's better than the Air for Regen, and the pedal is also better for Regen than the Air. Really impressive. One thing I do find really interesting about the Accelerator is it's more firm than the Air, but I'm not detecting too much pushback to the point that it will fatigue your foot from having to overly press, because it has just the right amount of travel and the exact amount of firmness to allow you to modulate and hold a position for a really extended period of time without developing fatigue, because a lot of cars standard suspensions. It feels like the Rivian standard suspension. The Rivian suspension's good, but this is really interesting. It's very calm, yet I can still feel more of the road. Like when you put the Air in sprint mode, it immediately dials in, and while it's not air springs, it still does adjust the dampers and you have a lot more road feel come through. Same thing here. The variable spring rate of an Air suspension really is an advantage here, I have to say. All right, let's give this the beans proper. There's a little bit of traction loss there as I floored it. I didn't even really floor it either. God, this has pull. Jeez. Yeah, almost Air level. I think that's the one thing. The Gravity Dream Edition has more power and goes toe-to-toe with the Air in terms of acceleration with the Air Grand Touring. This is a bit closer to the Air Touring in the first 60 miles an hour. But man, at 70, like right here, let's see if I can open it up real quick. But yeah, there is absolutely plenty of oomph at higher speeds in this. It just does not stop pulling. I gotta say that the sat-nav is so smooth and so easy to use in here. It's just ridiculously good. I mean, the Air's sat-nav has improved dramatically since the start. Like, it's come so far, but it's just so smooth and perfect. And here, I just, hats off to Lucid. I know that there is a lot of internet commentary right now about Lucid's software, but I have to say that as far as general foundational experience in here, they've done a fantastic job. Amazingly responsive and more ergonomic. Like, they really learned a lot of lessons from the Air in terms of layout, placement, menus, you know, menu depth, UX flow. A lot of those things have been addressed, and this makes this far more accessible. Like, I can do my Regen and my ride height right here And I've got the ability to switch between drive modes and go straight to the steering wheel and mirror adjustment. Like, I have everything immediately accessible in a really wonderful way. One thing they absolutely did right is this main screen up here. I've got the blind spot cameras, thank you, big expansive screen. But Rivian, with the new software version, is dropping the ability to put the map on the main gauge cluster. Now, I know I have it right here, but what if I'm doing music, I have Apple CarPlay or something else up here? Having the map in the center screen with the sat-nav route would be fantastic, and especially when CarPlay is in. I've always loved the Lucid's interior, the Lucid Air, because I, again, have like the left side screen, have the center one, have the right, have the vertical screen here. I think that the Gravity does a better job, and you know, again, it's full screen here with the touch screen on the left for everything. You know, bear in mind that this is a plastic they left on here, or that they put on here to protect the screen, because this is a demo car. But overall, like, screen, super responsive. The navigation on this has actually been really great. I've been driving around for a bit, and I have not felt like I needed Apple CarPlay at all. What I found nice about this is it's kind of perfectly positioned. I've got my arm here on the armrest. I can reach up and touch this. Because it's up higher, I'm not looking far away from the road when I'm trying to work the screen here. So this is actually a lot more natural. I also really like the extra button here that you can program, easy to go through things. And then the upper screen is kind of in the right spot, but I don't have to use as much because the steering wheel buttons actually work and allow you to move around. So that's been nice too. It's made it much easier for me to use the upper sat nav and not really have to deal with it much. Rear visibility out of the mirror, I'd say, is also nice. It's a little bit smaller than the Air, because again, the Air has that bigger rear window, but it's not pinched for visibility. I can also look out of the little corner windows back there. And unlike the Polestar 3, where it slopes up in the back, or like the BMW iX, I actually can see out that little corner window. So checking my blind spots is easy enough when I don't look at the cameras. Also, that little notch window right there works fine. It's actually kind of nice because you can see a pedestrian if they're kind of hanging in that spot. It's not blocked off. You can see somebody who might be in a crosswalk to your right or your left. Alrighty, getting into the rear seats now. Legroom in here is ridiculous, same as the Air. Plenty of room back here. It does have little vents down by the feet. You got a rear screen with climate control, both for the left and the right. There's also seat heating back here, which works quite fast, I can attest to. And then this is a feature that I love. The little tray table actually works out great. I was sitting here doing some emails for my company right before I started filming, and this worked out beautifully. So you have kind of plenty of room here. It's comfortable. It's certainly not like the craziest, most stable one, but at the same time, it works just fine. So the seats back here are also really nice, and they're not too vertical, so it's actually easier on your back. If you have back issues or lumbar issues, you're gonna be fine back here, because the seats themselves are not too vertical like some other cars, like Porsche Cayenne puts you up way too vertical and actually makes you uncomfortable after a while. This actually works out really, really well. So I've had no issues. Rear headroom is amazing in here. Even with the glass roof, there's so much room. I'm 6'3". I have plenty of room in here. All right, so getting into the third row here, works out quite well. I mean, some people can be like, hey, this is too slow. Whatever, it's fine. Works quickly enough. And I'm gonna go ahead and pop into the back here and see how I do in this seat, because I'm honestly curious. I'm not gonna go back here yet. There we go, come on. And flip that up, and let's see how I do. Actually, yeah, I'm 6'3". There's a lot of room back here. Vertical headroom is okay. My head is hitting the top. So bonk, bonk, bonk. Yeah, I mean, the biggest people gonna hit it. I'm gonna say that legroom is fine. Like if you've got an adult in the back here for a moderate trip, not gonna have an issue. Kids will be absolutely fine back here. They'll have no problems. It's also nice that you do have some storage. You got a cup holder, you got a little cubby for things. You've got USB-C right here as well, so plenty of stuff to work with. And also like a nice kind of soft touch armrest. I'd say, I think this is a great third row for most everybody, except the largest people. If you're taking some friends to dinner or something, they're all gonna be fine back here. No one's gonna have an issue. The seat popping forward works out with no issues. Just like any other one, takes a minute to go forward, stops, you're good, pull it back, you're gonna be happy. So this is not the kind of thing that, I don't think there's anything that's an issue with this. There are certainly some that might be a little bit bigger, but this is bigger than almost everything. So it works out quite nicely. So how does this compare to a lot of SUVs right now? I'd say that this is very much the fun of something like a Cayenne in a much better package that's electric with a lot more performance than you would expect for it. This is not as light on its feet, but at the same time still can move and change direction in a really effective way and in a really fun way. There is a great deal that this has to offer, I think, a lot of car buyers, and especially if you're looking for an SUV, there is not much better than this. It's really a lot of fun, I have to say. In only a short period of time, I've become so fundamentally used to this that I think that I could easily get in this and go home in it instead of my Air and not for a moment feel regret. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe when you have a moment. We've got a couple more reviews coming down the pike, and the goal for the 2026 is 1 car per week. I'll see you there.